A group of European leaders just blasted Trump ahead of his meeting with Vladimir Putin on Friday, and word has it, Trump is majorly burned. Smells like burning leather. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. And sorry, this is breaking news. I was mid-workout washing the car when this story broke, but duty calls. Here we go. The war in Ukraine continues to rage, despite Donald Trump's campaign promises that he could end it on the first day he took office. Estimates posit that more than 84,000 Ukrainians have died in the war, which began when Russia invaded the nation in 2022. Russian casualties remain unclear as the country has stopped reporting them. However, estimates place that number well over 1 million casualties. So no wonder Putin doesn't want to talk about it. Now, this week, Trump will meet with Putin on Friday in Alaska. Yes, he's meeting in the United States territory with a war criminal. Here's an overview.
I think the location will be a very popular one for a lot of reasons.
President Trump's one-on-one meeting with Vladimir Putin will be their first since 2019. And contrary to initial plans, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will not be included, even though his territory is the focus of the talks.
It's very complicated, but we're going to get some back. We're going to get some switched. There'll be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both.
Putin has been pushing to keep all the Ukrainian territory he gained from his 3.5-year invasion, and then some.
If a meeting between Trump and Putin seems like a bad idea, congratulations. You still have a functioning brain. And it gets even more embarrassing, so don't go away. Speaking in a press conference, Trump elaborated on his plans for the meeting, which, as we mentioned, will not include Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Because why would Trump want to involve the nation that is actually at war, right? Or for that matter, why would Trump bother at all, since Putin and Russia continually violate ceasefires? Still, Trump recently told reporters that he plans to take a hard stance with Putin when the pair meet in Alaska on Friday.
There will be consequences. Sanctions, tariffs? There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences, yes.
How were your calls this morning with European leaders, and was it your call not to invite President Zelensky to your meeting with Putin?
No, just the opposite. No. We had a very good call. He was on the call. President Zelensky was on the call. I would rate it a 10, very, very friendly. No, it was always going to be, I was going to meet with President Putin, and then after that, I'm going to call the leaders and President Zelensky. I'm going to call President Zelensky, and then I'll call, probably in that order, the leaders. There's a very good chance that we're going to have a second meeting, which will be more productive than the first, because the first is I'm going to find out where we are and what we're doing. I would say the second meeting, if the first one goes okay, we'll have a quick second one. I would like to do it almost immediately, and we'll have a quick second meeting between President Putin and President Zelensky and myself, if they'd like to have me there. And that would be a meeting where maybe it could be absolutely work. But the first meeting will not work that out. Certain great things can be gained in the first. It's going to be a very important meeting. But it's setting the table for the second meeting. I think the second meeting, if the second meeting takes place, now there may be no second meeting, because if I feel that it's not appropriate to have it because I didn't get the answers that we have to have, then we're not going to have a second meeting.
Online outlet Axios has issued a more detailed report on the call, what Trump discussed with those world leaders, and how those world leaders rebuked Trump in the conversation. Zelensky again objected to the meeting, warning Trump not to trust Putin. Polish President Nawrocki reminded Trump that Poland and Ukraine once united to fight Russia, and French President Macron, in particular, took a very harsh tone with Trump. Sources that contributed to the Axios report further stated that Trump was taken aback by Macron's harsh words. But here's the key bit. Trump, in that earlier press conference, stated that this was just a feel-out meeting with Putin. According to Axios sources, however, and this was later confirmed by Macron and German Chancellor Merz, Trump revealed that he intends to use the meeting to carve up Ukraine to turn over portions to Russia in exchange for a ceasefire. Furthermore, he's going to do that without input from Zelensky and without Russia suffering any major consequences for starting the war in the first place. No doubt Zelensky will reject any deal that Trump tries to force on him. And there's something else worth mentioning here. Trump's sudden motive in wanting this meeting at all. Biographer Michael Wolff predicted that this would happen last week because, according to him, Trump needs a distraction from a bigger domestic issue. the Epstein files, his treatment of Epstein's accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell, and the constant public demand to know Trump's involvement in the scandal. So don't accept the distraction. Continue to demand the release of the Epstein files and continue to demand aid to Ukraine. Trump does not have the power to redraw the borders or cede territory of other nations, and he has bigger responsibilities here at home. Not that I really expect him to do those either. This is Occupy Democrats.